Transitioning back to your natural hair requires patience. It's actually a process. But you know what? You can achieve this. Some of these ways are explained by Priscilla in this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and be blessed. Hair and spirituality. Just listen and leave me your comments.
He lets us give back to him what we messed up. And then somehow, in his grace and his mercy, he gives it back to us better than we had it in the first place anyway. That was what I felt sort of was the promise to me. Priscilla, if you will give me back what you damaged, I'll give it back to you. I'll give it back to you in an astounding way. So I did. That was the last time I ever got a relaxer. I think I was about 2 weeks away from my retouch. At the time I went to see the doctor. At the time I went to see the doctors, I was about 2 weeks away. Okay. And y'all know once you start getting about 2 weeks to retouch date, you start feeling them roots. They coming back in. You're anxious to go ahead and get back to the beauty salon and get all this stuff situated. And so I could see the time coming. And at the time, I was married. I was 1 year into my marriage. I had married my husband with straight hair. I think it was about chin length or so at the time. So he was used to a woman that had some hair on her head and had a relaxer. And so, for those of you that are married, please don't get off this live and decide to do what I'm telling you that I did. You need to talk to your spouse about this because you can't just jar the man. I mean, you gotta be kind and gracious to the brother, okay? But for those of you that are single and you've been considering the avenues that you can take if you're considering going natural, I'll tell you what I did, but there are other ways as well that you can do it, okay? So for me, I stopped getting a relaxer. I never went back. That's been 21 years ago now. Never went back to get a relaxer from that date. I waited about 3 or 4 months. So here's what happens. All your new growth is just growing in, growing in. Now, of course, the new growth is basically whatever the texture of your childhood hair is. When I say childhood, I mean past toddler stage. I mean you're in your good 8, 9, 10s, 11s. You need to look back at your pictures to see what your hair was. That is likely what it's going to be. Now, the reason why I say that part, this is the reason why I say that part is important because y'all social media is killing us in this regard. We are looking to someone else at someone else's Instagram feed whose hair we love. Their hair texture is beautiful. There's so many of them that I follow. Natural 85, her name is Whitney. Lipstick and Curls, I follow her. Paging Dr. Dre, I follow her. Um, Dr. Cami, there are many of them. The Growth Guru is another one of them. I follow all these incredible women who have these beautiful heads of hair, and I follow them mostly because they're able to do tutorials. There are people have been asking me to do tutorials, and I want to tell y'all, yep, there's Natural 85. She's a great. I've been following her for. She's been doing this for like 15, 16 years now. Um, so people have been asking me, will I do YouTube videos on hair? The answer is no. I, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not doing it. So can I just get that out here right now? I'm not doing natural hair videos. They take so much time and effort editing them, getting them all together, all that stuff. Tayani Ferris, the actress, she's doing some hair tutorial now. Um, so there's so many out there. Y'all don't need me to contribute to that. Uh, so there are women that I admire so much. They're doing that. And if you watch them, you will find ways that you can style it, products that will work for it. But the problem is, if you're looking at someone whose hair texture is different from you, then you start thinking when your hair grows out, it's going to look like that girl's. And then you think that the products that work on their hair are going to work for your hair. And you can become very disappointed, very disillusioned. You can become very frustrated because you really actually still aren't enjoying your hair. You're trying to get your hair to do what you see it on her hair on your social media feed. So follow those people, celebrate those people, enjoy what they do have to teach you, but don't get wrapped up in the fact that my hair gonna do that. Because no, her hair texture, not your hair. Honey, you a 4C. She's a 3C. It's not gonna work out the same on your hair as it does on hers. And that's okay. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, um, the 3C, 3B, 3A, 2C, 4B, there is basically a um, somebody help me describe it. I was going to say rating, but it's not a rating of hair. It's just a labeling of hair texture. There are labels that go with each hair texture. And so I don't even know, some people know what theirs is. I don't even really know exactly what mine is. But I will tell you that most of us that have curly hair, most of us have different textures in different parts of our hair. The hair that's on the side of my head, right over my ears on each side, is a tighter hair texture than all of the hair that goes through the middle of my head. So I have different hair textures, and most people do. Curl pattern. Thank you, SR Mayfield 1. Thank you. It is a kind of a labeling system for curl patterns. And so you might have one curl pattern in one part of your hair and another curl pattern in another part of your hair, and that's okay. But if you're looking at someone on Instagram and social media who has a different pattern than you, period, then you're going to be setting yourself up for a lot of disillusionment. So if you can get your hands on baby pictures, I'm sorry, not baby pictures, elementary age pictures of yourself, you will see what you're in for so that you can be prepared to enjoy what God gave you, not your imagination of what you hope God's going to give you. Nope, it is what it is. What he gave you is what you're going to have, okay? So I went about 4 months growing out my hair, okay? So I'm getting new growth coming in. Now, when you get your new growth coming in, all right, and you still have permed or relaxed hair on the ends of your hair, so the rest of it's permed, but you've got new growth right here, you will find a couple of things happening. Number one, your new growth is dry. It is horribly hard to manage. It feels, it just feels, the only word I can think of is really, really dry. And part of the reason is because, which makes it less manageable. Part of the reason is because you've still got chemicals that are attached to your natural hair. Those chemicals, you better believe it, those chemicals are still sucking the moisture out. They're still drying your hair. They're still sort of in the way of your natural texture flourishing. Now, I'm going to tell you what I did. You do not have to do this, but I'm going to tell you what I did. After I got to about 4 months, I couldn't take it anymore. It felt so dry. It felt so not manageable. Your relaxed hair at that point begins to snap off. It starts breaking, which if you are growing out your natural hair, I want you to expect that. Your relaxed hair is going to start snapping off as you maybe brush it or comb it or try to style it. You're going to see your hair start breaking off and falling away. Don't be discouraged by that, actually, because it will be discouraging. It really will be discouraging because you're going to be looking at your hair and that sink like, oh, Lord, I'm losing all my hair. But you want to lose all of that relaxed hair. A relaxer, for those of you that don't know, is permanent. Once it's on your hair. The only way to get rid of it is to cut it off or to grow it off and to slowly, gradually be clipping the ends of your hair as it grows off over a year or two. But it can be hard to do that because styling your hair as it grows out becomes difficult to manage this texture along with this texture, okay? So after I got about 4 months out, I had about that much new growth, okay? And I cut off all of my relaxed hair. I went to get a trim. That's what I told my husband because I think I'd convinced myself it was just going to be a trim. Nope. If you're cutting off whatever hair you got left and it's only attached to this much new growth and you're doing what we call the big chop is what we call it, then that means that you're going to cut off everything that is not relaxed. So in the year, or that is relaxed. So in the year 2000, y'all, I did the big chop. I cut off my hair. If I were organized, I'd have a picture right now to show you of my hair when I cut it off. I will tell you, I came home and my husband was not happy. We'd only been married a year, and he was like, where is my wife? What have you done with her? Bring her back. He wasn't prepared for that. That was not fair to him. And again, I say, for those of you that are married and you're considering all this, you do need to talk to your husband and not just like throw this on him. Certainly don't tell him Priscilla said for you to go cut your hair off. I'm not saying that. Not saying that. So I cut off all that relaxed hair and I came home with about an inch of hair. So I had a little TWA. Somebody that knows what a TWA is, go ahead and put that in the comments because I know y'all know what it is. But some people don't. So y'all can help me teach the class, help me teach the lesson. So if you know what a TWA is, put that there. I had a TWA And I will tell you how long it is because I remember. I remember that I could pull my hair and it stretched down to my first knuckle. That's how long my hair was. It went from here to here. And yes, a Caribbean beauty, you win. Teeny weeny afro. Court 0619. That's what it is, girl. Yep, a teeny weeny afro. I see you, Sassy Jazz. Yep, Joy Kirby, teeny weeny afro. Kiki, yes. So my teeny weeny afro went to about right here. Now, of course, it's an afro now, so it's standing straight up to right there. All right. So I've got this much hair on my head, literally about an inch worth of afro all over my head. So if you can picture me looking more like this, that's exactly what I look like. And I came home and surprise, husband, boo. Um, so I will tell you that I wasn't really a short hair person. I didn't love my hair like that, but let me tell you what I did love. When I came home that day after getting it cut off was one of the scariest things I ever did. Oh, and I should back up and say, I kind of already said this, but I should back up and say, I do remember the drive there, and I remember talking to the Lord and saying, oh gosh, should I do this? This is a big deal. I've never had hair that short in my life. And I do remember the Holy Spirit kind of whispering to me again. He said, if you give back, if you give to me what you've damaged, I'll give it back to you bigger and better than what you had in the first place. I will never forget that, y'all. And I don't want to over spiritualize it for you. I'm just saying this is what it was for me. So I went, got it cut off, came back home, and I had this little afro. I got in the shower that evening, and I let the water just run all over my head. I had never done that in my entire life. Get in the shower. Listen, black women don't get in the shower and just let water run all over their head. Let's be clear. You know them rain shower nozzle heads where it's right overhead and it comes down like a big shower. Sometimes they have those in hotels. That is not a blessing to us. Anybody home? That's not a blessing. It's cute, but it don't bless us because we don't want no water coming down straight on our head like that. Mm-mm. We plan wash day in advance. We need a whole day set aside where we're going to wash our hair. Okay, but on this day, for the first time, I stood in the shower and let my hair just be soaked, an inch of hair be soaked in all this water. And then I put conditioner in it and I got out of the shower. And when I saw my hair without the chemicals attached to it, yes, it was very liberating, whale's dolphin. When I saw my hair without those chemicals sucking the life out of it, I could not believe it. It was beautiful. The waves of it were beautiful. The curls, the tight curls on the side, the looser curls in the middle, all of it um, was pretty. Now I had to get over the short hair hump, but I wanted healthy hair more than I wanted natural hair. And I know for a lot of women, that's not your goal. That was my goal. That might not be your goal. I was on a healthy hair hunt, and I was willing to do whatever it took to get over this hump of having patches that have an issue right here. Y'all remember the days where you got to get a protein treatment and get a treatment over here and work on this, and this side is breaking off. I was tired of all that. I wanted healthy hair more than I wanted to have a hairstyle that I liked. So you've got to decide what your goal is. Your goal might still be style. There's nothing wrong with that. That means decide what style you like. And if it's going to be a little bit damaging to you to do it, nobody can question the intent of your heart. And that's really all I want to get at to you. You know whether or not you're doing it because you're trying to please other people or whether it's just the style you like. Girl, if it's a style you like, wear the style you like. That's enjoy your life. But if you recognize that you're actually doing things that are damaging to you because you're trying to appease people or feel included or feel a part, that's the thing that I'm saying. We all have to watch that in every area of our life. And for me, this hair situation is what the Lord used to show me that. But He put this almost militant desire on the inside of me to have healthy hair, even if I didn't like the process that was required to get there. So I see you, Junie Mosi, author. You're on a healthy hair journey. Good for you. Good for you. All right. So I'm going to tell you what I did that hopefully has helped me to have healthy hair because my hair has thrived over the past 20 years. It has. It's thrived. The main thing I have done is that I have not had chemicals in my hair for 21 years now. I don't get texturizers. I don't get relaxers. And I'll tell you, my hair is straight right now, and I'll tell you why in a second. But I don't get relaxers, nothing. I don't put no chemicals on my hair. About 10 years into having natural hair, I did get I got some color. I thought I was going to try some color. It was a natural color that was supposed to be less harsh, and I got that color. It was just a light brown highlights. My hair was dry, brittle. It didn't. I could tell that it was going to make my hair break off some more. So I grew that off and was done with that. That's the last time I ever even tried any chemicals in my hair. I'm just letting it be. The second thing that I did that over the years helped me the most, and this is going to be the hardest for many people who want healthy hair, but you like styling your hair in certain ways, I'm going to tell you, this is just for me. For the first 5 years of having natural hair, I did not put any heat in my hair. Not a blow dryer, not a curling iron, not a hot comb, not a nothing. I didn't put any heat in my hair. I feel like I have to wait and see the comments about that right there. No heat. Oh, hashtag no heat. Somebody's taking notes. Tosh, are you taking notes, girl? Okay, so I see somebody crying about the no heat. I know, see? Yeah, I see you going like this, Brenda. So for 5 years, ouch, you right. For 5 years, I didn't put any heat in my hair. After about the 5 year mark, and I'll tell you the style that let me back up and tell you the styles that I did. So my hair was growing out from a very short place. I used to get, at the beginning, I got either wore it just in its afro, or I got comb coils. Comb coils are when a stylist will take a comb, she puts a little gel on a small portion of your hair, and she coils it around, and you just have a little curl, a little coil, a little spiral. And she does those spirals all over your head. To be honest, I didn't love it that much when she first did it. The first week or so, it kind of was just little spirals everywhere. But then after about a week, it starts to get messy and unruly. And that meant I had an afro with little coils all over the place. I liked that. So I still had to get over the hump that the style in general wasn't my flavor. But again, I was on a mission. I was okay with that. By the time I got to the 6 month mark, I had about 3 inches of hair or so. So at 3 inches of hair, what I could do was wash it and 2-strand twist sections of it. Okay. So I'll tell you what that is for those of you who may not know. Now, obviously my hair is a little bit longer now, and it's straightened right this minute, so it's not going to look the same. But 2-strand twist is basically when you take some of your hair and, whoops, sorry, can't really see well, and you just twist it around itself. So it's a 2-strand twist just like that. Okay. You can even do this, by the way, if you are growing out your natural hair. I forgot to say that. If you don't do the big chop like me, you don't have to be as drastic if you don't want to. My sister-in-law, Kanika, she just grew out her natural hair. She just kept going and let the natural hair keep going. And she would just trim the ends as she went. So eventually the new growth takes over the relaxed hair, and eventually you've clipped all the natural hair off at the end. So here's the trick if you're going to grow out your natural hair. Y'all still following me? Everybody all right? If you're going to grow out your natural hair, you've got to wear styles where your hairstyle is matching your new texture, not trying to make your new texture match your relaxed hair. Now, this is a spiritual lesson too, if you think about it. You've got to start wearing styles that match the new direction you're going. You can't keep styling your hair to match the straight stuff you're trying to get rid of. Okay? Sarah Jakes Roberts, are you in here somewhere, sis? We having a hair conversation, girl. Okay, so you got to decide if you're going to grow out your natural hair. You got to try to find styles that are going to match the curly texture of your hair. All right. So for my sister-in-law, for example, for a lot of times, that what it meant was she would wash her hair and it would be wet, and she would cornrow her hair, and she would let it dry in flat twists or in cornrows. Okay. Once it dried and she let those cornrows out, now she's got a wavy texture. So the wavy texture is matching, basically, she's matching the new direction she's going. And if that ain't a word for our whole lives, listen, I don't know what is. If you're going in a new direction, hey, Danny, my cousin from Germany, I love you. if you, oh, we've had so many conversations about natural hair, Danny and I. See, her tag right there is DNCJY. That's my cousin. She's biracial. She's a German mother, and then her black father, who's my mother's brother. And so her hair is all curly, but in Germany for the longest time, even still, it's hard to find products that are for natural hair because she lives in Europe. Hey, girl. So we've talked a lot about how you do natural hair when you're in Europe or you live in a part of the world like Australia. I remember being there to see if there was anybody who could do my hair. There wasn't. Nobody knew how to do natural hair there. So you have to figure out, as you're growing your natural hair out, you have to figure out how to do styles that are going to protect the direction you're going. Okay? If you decide to keep on straightening your new growth so it keeps on matching your relaxed hair, I promise you're going to damage your new hair, which is that's that's contrary to your whole goal right there. So if you keep on straightening, you run the risk of damaging your new growth, and also you're going to train your new growth to be straight. Now, for some of you, that might be your goal might not be to wear natural styles. Your goal might just be not to have relaxer anymore. So if you don't mind training your natural hair under there to be straight, just know you're going to have a hard time doing twists. You're going to have a hard time doing curly styles because your hair will have been so conditioned to being straightened with heat, pressing combs and that sort of thing, that you're not going to be able to have coils at the end of your hair and that sort of thing. Does that make sense, y'all? So you got to wear protective styles that go in the direction you're headed, which means you might have to wear some styles that are not your preference. And that's what I did for the first 5 years or so. I wore styles that weren't my preference, but they were headed in the direction that I'm going. They were supporting that. Hunter, Mariah 15, are braids healthy for your hair? By braids, I'm assuming you mean when we get braid extensions. The reality is that any kind of extension can be damaging to your hair. Mostly, the growth guru is here. I need to get you in on this live. If you hang out for a second, Whitney, and if we have a second, I would love for you to come in here with me. And I'll tell y'all who the growth guru is in just a second. She's my friend, and she's amazing about hair. But where was I at? I lost my place because I got excited because my cousin and also because Whitney was in here. I lost my place. So anyway, that's what happens when you get old. So anyway, the reality is that what you have to do is choose a style that's working for the direction that you're going. If you get braids, that's where we were. If you get braids and extensions over time, that's going to wear on your hair. A lot of times it has even more to do with the person that's putting it in. If it's tight, you'll see a lot of people who don't have a hairline. That's because that hair, the braids and extensions have been pulling on their hair. Anything tight on your head is not working in your favor. Anything tight on your hair is not working in your favor. Anything superficial that's not natural that you've added to your hair, you just run the risk if you're not careful. Okay, so you got to be careful. If you're going to add things to your hair, you have to be careful. Now, again, only you know what your goals are. I knew what my goals were, and I was determined to get there. So for some of you, again, you might decide, like my mother. My mother wanted to go natural, but she didn't necessarily want to wear twists and natural styles. So she did press her new growth out as it was growing out. She did press it because she knew that even once her relaxer was gone, she was still going to want to wear a straight style. So it was okay for her to press it. So you get to decide, okay? So by the time I got to about 6 months, my hair was about that long, and I started twisting, and I would twist it while it was wet, just like this, all the way down. And at the time, I only had about this much of it. I would twist it and I'd let it dry and all these twists over my head. And then after it was completely dry, which is kind of the key, you got to let it completely dry. Then I would let those twists out all over my head, and I would have a cute little curly afro that was about this long all over my head. I wore it that way for a very long time. Then after about a year or and a half, 2 years, my hair started to get longer, and my twist, because my hair was longer, I started making my twists smaller. So now, instead of big chunks of twist that I was going to take out, I would have my stylist do my hair and twist again. but she'd do them nice and small. And those twists would hang down all over my head as it grew out. Okay, so they would be here. Then as my hair got longer, my twist would be here. Then my hair got longer and my twist would be here. Okay, so those twists would stay in my hair for about 4 to 6 weeks at a time. All right. So for 4 to 6 weeks, I would not comb my hair, wash my hair, because it was in the twists. So for the past 15 years of ministry, a lot of people, maybe you, have even noticed that you've seen my hair in those twists a lot. And it'll be up in a ball on top of my head, and my hair is in those 2-strand twists all over my head. I've worn my hair like that so much for years now because it is what is called a protective style. Okay? Protective styling. I just saw Simply Sinead say protective styling. You've got to figure out a style that allows you to leave your hair alone. Okay? I got kind of off track earlier, but that's one of the keys that I wanted to tell you. What can you do to have a style you enjoy while leaving your hair alone? You've got to leave your hair alone. For those of us with curly hair, combing it every day is antagonistic to the goal of growing out your hair. Brushing it every day, washing it every other day dries your hair out. As women of color with curly hair, we don't thrive by manipulating our hair every day, every week, day in, day out, straightening, drying, blow drying, all that stuff. It's not helpful to your hair. You got to find some style that, again, depending upon your goals, my goal was to grow my hair out in the most healthy way. So for me, I found a style that even though at the beginning of it, it wasn't my favorite style, what it did was allow me to leave my hair alone for 4 weeks at a time at least. And then after about 4 weeks of those small twists being in my hair, I'd take the twist out and my hair would have kind of basically been molded into a wavy kind of curly style. So most of what you've seen of me of the past 15 years has been either in the twists or I took the twist out and my hair was all curly and I'd wear it that way for about a week. Then I'd go back, wash my hair, comb it out, condition it real good, put it back in the twist, and I'm done for another 4 weeks. Does that make sense? So if you saw War Room, my hair was in a twist out. That's what it's called when you take the twist out. For those of you with, I'll try to save this live. Letters from the Kingdom, I see you. I'll try to save this live. I see someone put moisture, moisture, moisture. Yes. What protective styling also does is help to retain the moisture that is in your hair. So the more your hair, like I don't wear my hair out like this, and I'll tell you about this in a moment, but I don't wear my hair out like this often at all. And the reason why is because as our hair is exposed to the elements, and as our hair has to be combed when it's in a style like this one, that over time, not just 1 month, not just 2 months, but over time, if you're constantly wearing your hair out and it's exposed to the elements and those sorts of things, it's going to be damaging to our curly textured hair. So I still mostly wear my hair in protective styling. I probably have my hair straightened like this 2 or 3 times a year. Used to be just once a year. Now a little bit more, 2 or 3 times a year. And then I get it clipped off at the ends. Every time I straighten it, which again is just 2 or 3 times a year, I'll clip it at the ends and I wear it this way for that month or so. And then I'm getting ready. In fact, in the next few weeks, next couple weeks, I'm going to have it washed again and I'm going to have it conditioned. I sit under a hair steamer to get that moisture in there locked and sealed into my hair. And then it will be twisted. And all throughout this whole summer, my hair is going to be twisted. And those twists are probably going to be up in a knot on the top of my head or in a ponytail or whatever. But my hair is going to be locked into itself as to protect it, to keep me from having to comb it every day. And yeah, that's the way that I wear my hair. So I was saying, if you've seen War Room or if you saw, let's see, Overcomer, my hair was in a twist out in both of those. Let's see, someone's asking, do I wash style my own hair or do I have a stylist? I have someone who does my hair, not because not because I'm bougie, but because combing out my hair is a situation. I literally can't comb out this whole part that I can't see. It's so thick and my hair is like Velcro. So literally, if I tried to comb it out myself, I'd be ripping it out because I can't see. My stylist, my hair, the person who does my hair, I had one lady that did it for about 15 years, and I still see her every now and then. Then I have another sister, Whitney, who is on this live. She does it now, and I mean, it will take her 2 hours just to comb out my hair, and she can see it from the back. So you know, if I'm looking at the front of me, I can't see back here. It would be a disaster. So when I wash my hair, um, I have to get my sister-in-law Kanika too. She's done my hair for me before, and they'll get a section about like this big. And before they ever put a comb on it, they have to pull it apart at the roots in particular, get it all pulled apart with their fingers before they start going through it gingerly with a comb. I'm saying that to say that y'all, you literally, if you're going to do your own hair or you're going to have someone else do it, you got to be super patient with natural textured hair. Oh, thank you so much, Patricia Welsh. I appreciate it. Um, yes, Layla, girl, I'm not even playing with you. It takes her 2 hours just for the comb out, particularly right here in the crown. My hair is really dense and thick. So she'll take a little section and she'll just finger through it at the roots and get that all separated. And it's like Velcro in there. She'll get it all separated. Then she slowly combs it out. Very, very patient, very, very slowly to make sure to not pull my hair out. If I did it myself, my hair would be torn out because I can't see well enough to separate the hair without damaging it and pulling on it. So someone's asking, what's my hair porosity? Can I tell you, I don't even know what porosity means, honey. I don't know. I think I saw on something that someone let the piece of their hair sit on some water, and if it floats, then it's got porosity, and if it doesn't float, then I don't know. The growth guru might have an answer for my hair porosity. I don't even know if I'm saying that word right. So let me see, where was I at? Oh, we've gone for an hour now, so y'all forgive me. We're going long, and oh well, we'll be all right, right? What else we got to do? We're all sheltered in place. Um, so anyway, for basically the last 15 years, that is what I have done with my hair. Thank you, Growth Guru. Medium porosity. That's what I've done with my hair. I have put it in protective stylings. I've washed it, combed it out, moisturized it, and then had it styled in a protective styling. The one that I found for me was twists. So I've worn twists at every stage, whether it was this long, this long, this long, this long, or this long. I've worn it in twists most of the year. And then I take it out for a week or two, then I get it twisted back up. So you got to find a protective style, y'all. You've got to find some moisturizing products that are going to work for your hair. And really anything, thank you, Quan Lee, anything that has natural moisturizing agents in. And I'm going to bring Whitney on here in a second because she's really going to be able to speak to this more intelligently because I'm not an expert in this. I just know my own hair. What I do know is that there are many natural products out there that can be helpful to you. I've used Karen's Body Beautiful for years. Karen with a K. Karen's Body Beautiful products. I'm trying to think of, there's obviously the Curls brand is amazing. Mahisha has a wonderful brand. You can find so many options that are available to you. Those of you that are raising mixed-raced children, find a African-American friend of yours that you can really sit down and talk to. How do I get moisture in this young lady or young man's hair? Because moisture is the key for retention. And moisture is sustained when you have your hair in a protective styling, when you have your child's hair in a protective style that can help retain the moisture over the long haul. So the reality is you do need help when you're dealing with young children and adoptive children, or you're fostering children. I appreciate those of you that have come in. Oh, Design Essentials, that's another brand that is great. Those of you keep saying the brands that you found that work well for you. We can help each other in that regard. But those of you that have said, I've got mixed race children, I get a lot of comments about that. How would I advise you? I would advise you to be open to the advice of some Black women in your world that can say to you, let me help you. Let them help you, okay? Because it is different than your hair. Your child cannot have their hair washed every day. They have to have some real live good oils in their hair, which would be the opposite of what if you're European descent, the opposite is what you need need to do. You don't need to put oil in your hair. Your hair creates its own oil. Ours doesn't. So we have to put oil in our hair. Nature's Blessing is a wonderful pomade that I've used for 20 years in my hair. I use it in my boys' hair. It's fantastic. Nature's Blessing. You can find it on Amazon. Buy it in a pack of 3. I love it. It smells like heaven too. And then the Growth Guru, she has a line of incredible products. I'm going to bring her on to tell you about them. This is not a commercial for the Growth Guru, by the way. Her name's Whitney. I call her the Growth Guru because that's her Instagram handle. But Whitney and I did not plan this, just so you know. She happens to just be here on the live. Yes, Morena, the main choice, is another line that is very good. But Whitney and I didn't plan this. I don't want you to think that this is me trying to overtly promote Whitney's products. What I can tell you is that they've worked wonders for us, not just me, but my sons. They're fantastic. She's created them herself, so they have natural products in them, and this woman knows some hair. So I'm going to see if I can get Whitney in here for a second. Let's see here. Whitney.